guys, welcome back to Makeup Artistry by Dana Tutorials. I'm Dana and I have with me Kylie again. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of like a pinky summer glow. I do have Lindsey coming back in to work on Kylie after me. She had a really good response with her braids. So she's actually going to be doing another braid in a little bit of a different style this time. We want to, kind of like get the summer vibe going. Even though we're in August, it's still really nice out and really warm and everybody's got nice tan. So we're going to take a little advantage of that. So we are going to start with skincare, and for the first step, I'm going to start with the Pearlescent Radiance Perfecting Serum. And I'm going to be using this Morphe brush. It's an M427 brush. So I'm going to be taking about a dropper onto the brush. I'm just going to add that to Kylie's T-zone. Now, if you remember from the last tutorial we did just about a little less than a week ago, Kylie had some breakouts happening on her forehead. Well, she decided to order and try the Kylie Cosmetics skincare line, and it worked really well. She actually has like nothing. I had her original, what she first came out with, the face wash and the scrubs and all that, and that works so good. But I just ordered her new clarifying oil and this spot treatment, and it was like, my blemishes went away within 2 days, like gone. I'm actually really impressed because
they were bad.
They were really hard, especially with our skin types. We tend to like scar if we have any kind of acne come out. So I'm really impressed with how quick it went away. You can't really see anything at all.
The scarring, like no dry spots. I was impressed.
Yeah, so just note to self. So the next step is going to be Kylie's moisturizer, and I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Hydra Genius in the normal to dry skin. I'm still using the same brush. I'm just going to do about 2 pumps on the brush. I'm just going to go over the same areas, T-zone first, and then down to her neck. I love to use this brush because it's nice and fluffy, and it's still dual fiber, so it's fine for liquids, but it gets the job done really quickly. And it evens everything out really well too. It really does. It doesn't absorb at all. It just kind of like keeps the product right on top, and then you just go in.
Like you can feel on your skin how it's getting everywhere. It's not just like,
right. It's just really important. So the last step in skincare is going to be Kylie's eye cream, and it's going to be the MAC Fast Response Eye Cream. And as I've mentioned in just about every other class, this is an eye cream meant for basically like preparation of makeup. It's not going to be an everyday that's going to battle, lines or have any kind of effects, long term. It's more of just like has a little bit of caffeine powder, so it'll help any dark circles or puffiness, and it has a little bit of a silicone finish which allows makeup to go on really smooth. So it's perfect for just prep right before makeup. So we're going to do one more preparation step. So it's going to be the MAC Lip Conditioner. Kylie is a little bit dry from being in the sun, so I'm just going to add that with a generic lip brush. And I like to do this in the beginning so that it has time to kind of hydrate her lip before we do the lipstick. Perfect. Alright, now we can get started with the eyes. So before we get started with the eye makeup, here's a quick picture of our inspiration for today. And I'm really excited about this because even though we're using some of the tones that are similar to what I've done before, it's really more of like, it's kind of like a smoky neutral look, and it's got a lot of like pink undertone in there. I am going to add a little bit of like a shimmer to the lid just to take it from, you could really go like day or night with this, but I just want to give some options on how to wear maybe some of the colors you already own or you've already used from the other classes, and just give a little spin on it so you have different ideas. So before we can go into eyeshadow, we have to prime. So this is by MAC. This is called Lay and Low, and it's a paint pot, which is meant for either using alone as like a shadow, or you can also use it as a shadow base, which I love it for. And I'm going to use this MAC 287 brush to apply. So you start right into the center of the lid, and then just work your way up to the brow. This does not have to be perfect. You can see how quickly I'm moving with this because it does dry down to a powdery finish. But just make sure you don't have any creasing happening, or else your shadow will look creased. There you go. So for shadow, I am using this BH Cosmetics Ultimate Matte 42 color shadow palette. It's, as you can see, it's really colorful. It's got a lot of some neutrals, some pinks, purples, blue, green. It's kind of got everything. I love this palette. And I'm gonna stick today with mostly the pinky, peachy tones. I might add some purples in there too. So for her first transition color, I'm going to be going into this one here. And the brush I'm using is a Morphe M518 brush. So I'm going to start right into her creased area. This is going to be the highest crease color that you're going to use. And I'm just lightly blending it across to her inner crease and also attaching it to the corner of her lid. And this will really give her some brightness to her eye makeup, and you can kind of customize these crease or transition colors to the look that you're doing. It varies on the brightness depending on the look you're going for. So sometimes it could be more muted, like in here, or it could be something like as neutral as this. But because we want more of like a pinky look to begin with, I do want to add that brightness. I'm so torn. So for the next color, I'm gonna go slightly deeper here, and let's see. I'm gonna go into this one here. Okay, it's more of like a, almost like a rosy purple. This is the Morphe M139 brush. So this is also gonna be applied to her crease, but just a little bit lower. So you're getting a really pretty ombre effect using these two colors. So far it's looking a little tropical, which is perfect. Oh my gosh. This is so pretty already. I'm loving the thing happening. Don't forget to move the brush kind of in a swirl, even though we're going back and forth. You don't want to just apply this way, or else it'll be really concentrated line. So just blend it a little bit with the brush. I'm going to go back into the first color and brush to blend that a little bit better. It's really important to kind of play with the colors that you're using, because even though you may purchase some palettes where the colors look exactly the same, they're going to have different payoff. So they do vary depending on brand or consistency, so always make sure you kind of like play around with that. So you can see by adding that little bit again, it just gives it like a perfect fade. It's perfect, because this one's a little strong where you can't really see that transition color anymore. So now for the inner lid color, I'm going to mix a few colors together. So I want the tone of this color here, but I want to keep it neutral and I want to deepen it. So I'm going to do these three. It's completely okay to do, to kind of like jump around and pick colors. The brush I'm using is a Morphe M506 brush. So here I'm staying right in the outer lid. And I'm just keeping the colors really concentrated in their own areas and allowing them to blend on their own. So I'm doing the same thing on this side. I jump back over here. Let me see. Good. And I did go up a little higher on this one, so I'm just going to do the same thing on this side. Perfect. That's great. Okay, so we're not doing a cut crease per se today, but I am going to make the center of her lid a little shimmery, and I just need something for the shimmer to grab onto. So I'm going to be using this Tarte, almost like, it looks like it would be a gel liner, but it's called Rose Gold. And I'm going to be using the Morphe M421 brush to apply that. So I'm going to go right into the center of her lid. You can see this has a lot of shimmer in it on its own, but because it's more of like a gel or a cream, it's going to allow the shimmer to really grab onto it, and it's going to give her like a double shimmer effect. So really not overlapping this with any of the colors. I'm just kind of going right into the center lid, up to her crease. So the press and slide technique works really well with this. And this will also dry down, so you want to work a little bit quickly here. The shimmer I'm using is by BH Cosmetics. This is called Diamond Dazzlers, and it is loose, but it has this little kind of like stopper up here, so you can kind of let it fall out through the little holes. It doesn't just like all fall out at once. So I am taking the same brush to apply this loose shimmer, and I'm sorry, my eyelashes are sticking to I'm just gonna tap this on. So it's about the same color we just used, so it's just gonna look like a double dose of shimmer. Yes. And same thing over on this side. You can see her eyes are coming to life now. Oh my God. I'm going to highlight her brow and also the tear duct portion of her eye with this MAC product. It's called Vanilla Pigment, and it is a loose shadow. I'm using the MAC. I always forget this brush. 239 brush. So I'm just going to kind of tap this on to her brow bone area, starting mostly in the middle. So I want that to be the most pigment there, and I'm just going to work it down her tail and over. And I'm just smoothing it with my ring finger to make it look a little bit softer. And same thing over here. You can take the same product and just put it right into the tear duct. So right in this area, just a little tap on both sides. Because we are going with like a pinky look, I'm going to go into this color here with the same brush for her inner lid color. And I'm just going to lightly tap that on. And smooth it out with my ring finger. really pretty. So I got 4 sets of these. I got a black, a white.
That's a whole set? Are they connected?
This is, no,
Oh,
they
but
were.
they're
But
cute.
for 25 bucks, you got all 4. Where?
I love that.
Amazon.
Amazon's the best finds with
Show
jewelry.
them. Show them.
Amazon finds.
They're amazing. I got all, like, there's all, it's the same bracelets, but different colors for each. So for her liner, I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills gel liner in jet. And for the brush, I'm using the Morphe M409. It's a small little angle brush. And so this does have a little bit of a boho vibe, but I'm still going to do a little bit of a black winged liner today, just to add a little drama. So I started out a little bit thicker on the outside, and I'm going to start to gradually get thinner as I move to the inner corner. Do you impress yourself sometimes? I just
You're like, damn, I'm good.
no, I just get really excited over me. I get so excited over every application I do, every time. It's like the first time, every time. So I'm just doing a little swipe. And same thing, I'm just moving a little bit thinner as I move into the inner corner. So if you're doing this on yourself, you could probably just get the inner corner, but if you're doing it on someone else, have them look down and over, and you can lightly lift their lid and get that little section in the corner, and it looks easy and perfect. Down and over. Just check it. Yeah. Do you think you want to do like a nude waterline on the bottom, or do you think you'd want black? We can kind of go either way.
What kind of lashes are we doing? Like dramatic? Or
Middle of the road. You know, like you can see it, not too crazy.
maybe black.
Okay, we could do black.
I think my eyes always look huge if I do like a neutral, lighter color on my
Waterline? Yeah, it does make them look a little bigger, but it's also really pretty because she's got a brown eye to put black on the waterline. It'll just look a little smoky, a little more sultry. So that's a good choice. You can kind of look all the way up. So I'm using the same product and the same brush for this. And I'm just gonna go about 3/4 of the way over and stop right there. Just look down. Just make sure the liner is connected to the wing that you made.
I'm so twitchy, it's not even funny.
Why?
Because mom used to scare me a lot as a child.
Oh God. Okay. Mom's stories.
No, it wasn't even just mom, it was mom and like, they used to like pop out of like, just to scare me because they think it's funny.
They're
One
not
thing that
here.
like comes at your eye, you're just like, ooh.
Just anywhere, like even my eyebrow girl, she touches me, my eyes are closed, I'm like, you're like, and I have to say sorry all the time.
So I'm gonna go back in and smudge the bottom eyeliner. I'm gonna go in with this color here, and the brush I'm using is just a generic small shader brush. So I'm using this color first. And I'm only gonna smudge that in the outer, almost like 1/4 of the way over. Perfect. So the next color I'm going to go into is going to be this one here. I'm still using the same brush. And I'm going in all the way up, just in the center.
Have you ever done like a really big liner? Has anyone ever asked for
For
that?
Halloween, I have. I have, yes.
Halloween.
But other than that, a lot of people don't really request that liner. For them,
There's
to
some
like,
people that whenever they do their makeup, they go like,
All the way out.
yeah, I mean, it's a look. It was a look maybe like
5 years ago.
yeah, a few years back. It's not wrong. It's just not really what's in right now. I mean, it's just very
Lashes are
dramatic. It's like, yeah, more lashes. Liners aren't really, I wouldn't say so in anymore, but it's really pretty if you have like, if you do lashes and you give yourself like a little bit of a cat eye, it still makes your eye look nice and big. All right, so I'm gonna clean up a little bit because I see on this eye, Kylie's got some black in the corner, so I just want to get rid of that before I go in and highlight the bottom corner of her eye. This is another reason I do eyes first, because I don't want to go and remove everything I just did on her skin by cleaning up her eye area, which needs to be done every time. I am taking a little bit of the BH loose shimmer onto a pencil brush. So you can use any pencil brush. This is the Morphe M431. This is the same shimmer that's on her lid. Just look all the way up. I'm just going to go on the inner lash line with this. Perfect. Good. And I'm just going to re-clean that area up. Alright, awesome. So her eyes, aside from her lashes, are done. The shadow is finished. Actually, let me do one more thing. I just want to add a little bit of brightness in the bottom liner. So I'm going to take that pencil brush I just used and I'm going to go right into this color here. And I'm going to look all the way up and I'm just going to go right underneath the shadow that's already there. And this will just give her a little extra brightness. Good. Alright, so now she's done. All done.
Oh, my legs are so sore I can't even straighten them.
Working out.
Oh yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Oh.
So I'm going to curl her with the Trish McAvoy eyelash curler. I'm going to have you look down. And I'm just going to wiggle it in, give it a couple pumps. Good. Done. Alright, so for mascara, I'm doing the L'Oreal Voluminous in the deepest black. And I'm using a disposable wand for that. So unfortunately, I can't ever really get like a great natural lash because the disposables are not as good as the real thing. But it's okay because we're doing lashes today. So I'm gonna have you look down. And you can look straight ahead just like that. Just gonna lightly coat our bottom lashes. Okay. Okay, perfect. So I am just measuring these. These are really natural lashes. They're like more full than they are long. They're very pretty. A lot of my bridesmaids love these. They add a little bit of like a pop, but nothing too crazy. So I'm gonna measure these first. Always measure your lashes before you glue them on because most likely they're gonna be a little too wide. So I'm just gonna clip one bunch off. So when you put lashes on, just look down, don't close all the way. If you have to tilt your head back, then use a tweezer. You just wanna match middle to middle and then bring in corner to corner. And it's really easy. It'll take some practice, but it's really not difficult. So if you mess up once or twice, keep trying. And on somebody else, you just want to have them look down and not close, otherwise their bottom lashes will most likely stick in with the glue. So with the glue, you just want to squeeze it out a little bit onto something. You can even use like the top of the lash case, just a very small amount. And then you just want to let it sit for about 10 minutes so it starts to get dry on top and then it starts to get a little tacky. So when you put it on the strip of the lash and you stick it on your eye, it just grabs right on instead of like as opposed to like when you first squeeze it out and it's really slippery. That'll also slip around on your eye. So if you let it get a little tacky first, it'll just grab right on and you won't have an issue. Put down. So just let that one dry, and I'm just going to start on her brows while her lashes are drying. So for her brows, I'm going to use the MAC Eyebrow Styler. It's a little crayon that twists up, and it has a little spoolie on the other side. And I would normally go a little lighter for Kylie. In color, I'd probably use like Lingering, which is like a dirty blonde. But we've used brunette on Kylie before because she does have a darker root. It looks really good on her and it makes her eyes pop even more. So I'm gonna just comb out any shadow that went into Kylie's brows. And just turn a little bit. Good. So I started in the inner part of her eye. I like it when it's a little deeper throughout the bottom, and then it kind of like spoolie the way through, so it kind of blends upward, and it looks really natural that way. And Kylie's got great brows, so I don't have to do too much, but she doesn't have a tail as much, so I'm going to fill that part in. You can turn it a little that way. It looks beautiful through that. It looks great on her. So like normally because she's so light through here, I would go a little lighter, but I know this color works for her. So you kind of have to like experiment a little bit. You don't always want to go by like what you should be doing. Kind of try things out and see what works for you. So I know nobody really wants to spend like a ton of time on any one feature, or especially, you know, when you're getting ready to either go to work or for the day. But just keep in mind, the more time you put into something, the better it's going to look. So especially with your brows, they frame your eyes. They're really important. So you want to take a little bit more time and kind of work on them. strong arch.
I know. When I was paying, and girls in the front were like, look at your arch.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
It's like,
The arch is so important.
It is.
Now you want to know.
I've had an arch since I came out the womb.
You have.
You were
Yeah.
one of those little Nikes.
I seriously was.
You are good.
Alright. I like this look. Sorry. I like it because it's like dramatic and fun.
I know. I love it. I know. I love journals.
Me too. I've been gravitating towards like the boho looks. They're very in, especially we're in summer, so they look really cool and pretty. But I wanted to add a little drama to this.
It's the only place where we like drama.
Yes,
On your
the
face.
makeup. The only place. Okay, so I'm going to be using a different primer today. I'm using the Urban Decay B6. This is vitamin infused complexion prep priming spray. Even though I have her lashes drying, it's not going to interfere with that. And I'm just going to give you a couple of spritzes. It has a really nice mister, so it comes out really nice and even. And it doesn't, you know, like spit out in areas and make her skin wet. It's perfect. So this is a really nice alternative. So your foundations could change kind of like weekly. You don't have to do that, but for her, because we have them, it might be a little different. So I'm going to be using two colors this time, and this is the 42G. So the G has more gold in it, and since she is still tan, I'm going to keep that color probably through her forehead down to about here. And then the other color is the 38N. So this is going to be, the N is neutral, and that has like yellow and pinky tones in it. And that I'm going to pretty much, from her cheekbone down to the base of her neck, will be this color here. And these are, again, Tarte Face Tape Foundations. The brush I'm using is the same brush that we use for skincare. It's the Morphe M492. So I'm just going to start with the darker color at the top. Depending on how you apply these, they could be full coverage. Like right now, this is pretty full coverage. But I am going to work it out with the brush so that it becomes like a medium to full.
I got more.
You did.
I think it was going to be.
I think so too. I'm taking a little beauty blender, and I'm just going to soften right along her hairline so it's not, doesn't look like a mask of foundation mixed in with her hairline. And I'm just pressing, because she does have a little blemish here, I don't want to lose that coverage. I'm just going to press it in. And I'm just buffing the foundation through here. So this is the lighter of the two colors, and I'm just going to do one pump on the brush. So this is still going to be pretty dark compared to her neckline, but then you see she gets tan through her chest. So that's the reason I'm making this a little darker, because I want it to all match, and I'm just going to blend this down. Also, don't forget your ears, because
I was going to say, you just got my ear.
yes. So like if you have that little bit of paleness through your neck, you may have it along your ears too. And if you don't get any foundation on your ears, it's going to look like your ears are pale. So just like lightly add foundation to your ears as well, just not your earrings.
Oh.
So her foundation is done. For concealer, we are going to be doing a combination of the MAC Prep and Prime in Radiant Rose. I did Radiant Rose to kind of brighten her dark circles. And then I'm also going to go over that using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in medium beige. And the brush I'm using is a Morphe brush. And it is the dual fiber, just like medium, kind of like eye area brush. Okay, but you can use any brand. So this is the MAC Prep and Prime in Radiant Rose. And I'm just applying with this Morphe brush. And I really just want to brighten under her eye and her inner cheek area. We do have to add dimension back into her skin because right now she's just like very tan. So that's why I went so light with this. And I'm just using this beauty blender to kind of smooth the brightness down and out. And same thing on this side. I'm just bringing it down her the bridge of her nose and also the tip, just to give it also a little dimension. Now moving into concealer. So when you apply your concealer, you kind of want to keep it in this region right there, okay, through the cheek area, like under the eyes. It's kind of dated to just apply your concealer through here. Okay, it creates like almost like a raccoon effect, which you don't really want. So just make that little triangle from like the corner of the eye down to the corner of the mouth, up to the hairline and back over. And then I just want to keep that consistency nice and full, like a full coverage. So I'm just pressing in with the Beauty Blender here. Okay, so that side is done. Over and back through. I'm just brightening her forehead area and then her chin. So highlighted areas are going to be from here on both sides, forehead, down the bridge of the nose, tip of the nose, and chin. So now I'm going to go in and set the concealer areas. I'm going to be using the Too Faced Peach Perfect Loose Powder. It does have a little bit of like a peach undertone, which helps to keep everything nice and bright. And I'm using the Japanese fluff brush, and I'm just gonna start setting under here. And you can use a tapping motion so the powder doesn't, you know, fling everywhere if you start to kind of buff it on. So tapping is gonna be best. You know what I like about all this is you can still see her freckles, maybe not on camera, but in person I can still see them. So some people do want to still see their freckles, it's like part of them, and you can definitely get that look with all of these products. Your blemish is gone. I am a big fan of a dewy look, so we are going to do that today.
Dewy it.
Yes, nice and dewy. Alright, so I'm going to use the Iconic Illuminator, and this is called Blush. And I'm going to apply it with this beauty blender I've been using. And I'm going to go literally in the area that I would apply her blush and her highlight, because this does have a little pink in it, and that's the whole look we're going for today, is that little summer pinky glow. This is beautiful. And you can layer powder highlighter right over it. And same thing on this side. Alright, and we are good with this illuminator. Now I'm going to go into the regular highlight. So for powder highlight, I'm going to use the MAC Hyper Real Glow. This is the pink toned shimmer palette, and I'm also using the MAC fan brush. And I'm going to go into this middle color here, which is the most pink, and I'm just going to mix it in with the golds. And I'm just going to watch this. It's amazing, right? It's so pretty. It's like magic. Just little swipes, just where you applied that liquid, just along here. I'm going to use my ring finger to just go down the bridge of the nose, and the tip of the nose. I'm going to add a little in her cupid's bow and in the front of each eyebrow. Okay, so highlight is done. So typically I would go in with a contour palette, but because Kylie's pretty tan and she's got a lot of warmth in her skin, I'm going to use this MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. This is one of the bronzers. I don't have the color anymore, but it looks like this. Okay. And I'm using this Morphe brush here. And I'm just going to start, you can turn a little. So I'm going to start right in this area and just like bring it halfway over. So just small buffing motions. And this is going to really sculpt out her cheek between this and the highlight, and then we're going to add blush. Okay. And then I'm just going to add a little in her hairline. So basically, once you smooth everything out with foundation and concealer, you just want to put dimension back into the skin to make it look more like a face and not just like a canvas. I'm going to stop here with this color. I'm going to switch over to my contour palette because I don't want there to be too much warmth through this section or her nose. So this is the Tarte Park Avenue Princess contour palette, and I'm going to go into Angel, and I'm just going to lightly go along her, under her chin, and just swipe down. Like that. And this will give her a really strong jawline. And nose contour, I'm going to use the JD Wadey brush by Luxie into Princess Cut. So I'm applying with the small end first, and I'm just going to buff in with the fluffy side. And then I'm just going to go in with the fluffy side only and just go down each nostril. Okay, and then I'm just going to also add some right in her cupid's bow and underneath of her bottom lip, and that'll just make her lips look even more full. So we are saying pinky, we're sticking with our theme. So I'm going to be using the Morphe blush palette in the cool tones, and I'm going to mix Free and It Girl together. And this is a MAC 159 brush. And I'm just going to stay in this area here, right here, smile. So like her apple of her cheek is more forward, but I'm going to keep the blush right back here. And just tapping motions, I want it to be nice and opaque and a little bit fuller coverage. Okay. Ooh, that was really good. And same thing over here. So as the skin tones get deeper and the complexions get deeper, you can really pack on color. So if she was a little bit fairer, I would probably just do a soft swipe. But I do want to see these colors, so I'm just packing it on. Before I go into lip, and I'm just going to go into a little bit of finishing touches. So this is the liner that we used. I'm going to have her close and just go over the glue marks from the lashes. So for lip color, I'm going to mix 3 liquid lipsticks together, and I'm going to be using a gloss. So the first 2 colors are by BH Cosmetics. This one here is called, ooh, I can't even see it. Muse. This is Muse. This one, the name fell off, but they don't have many colors, so it shouldn't be hard to find this one. And then this is Kylie Cosmetics Cocoa in Allergic to BS. You love that one? I do. It's my favorite. And the gloss I'm using is my friend Priscilla times Rincone, and it's called Astro Girl, and it's really pretty, like pinky shimmer. Has some golds in there too. I'm also going to add in this MAC lip pencil. It's called Hover. So I'm going to do that first. How do your lips feel? Nice and hydrated? Yes, good. So I'm lightly filling in her lips because I don't want there to be like a solid line. And because we hydrated her lips in the beginning, they're like perfect and supple, and they're taking to the color really well. You look so happy.
Because I love that word, like supple.
Sounds like
It
summer.
reminds me, yeah, maybe because it reminds me of food.
Sorry. I'm trying to find a little too big.
Overline?
Okay. Yeah, let me fix that. And just drop your lip a little bit. Okay, good. Okay, so I mixed the 3 lip colors together, and I'm just using a generic lip brush. So I like to use a little bit of a darker lip pencil because if we use this lip color on its own, it would kind of make her look probably like she was a little ill because there's like no definition in there, and she's pretty tan. So it's really important to have a little bit of a deeper lip pencil, and everything will blend together. It'll just give it some dimension. And then I'm just going to add in the gloss next. Oh,
That's a really good lip color.
I love it.
Did you mix like 3 different ones?
I did.
Yeah.
Shocking.
You should just make your own lip line. At
She
this
should,
point.
honestly.
I should, because I know what I like.
Mhm.
And it looks
And it always does. I would mix 3 different ones and be like, whoa,
And throw the lip conditioner in there.
that
You
looks
look
awesome.
amazing. So I'm gonna, yes, you can take a look.
Holy!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yes.
It looks so
Yes.
beautiful. Look at my
Oh
pretty
my!
So pretty.
sister. Beautiful.
I love it.
Thank you.
So.
I'm gonna do a close up so you guys can see before we move on to hair with
Holy.
Lindsey.
Oh my goodness.
I know, girl. Okay,
It gets better every week, I swear.
both sides slow.
Head on.
Look down. Good. And now look to the other side. Kind of move. So this is MAC Fix Plus in Magic Ingredients. So I'm just gonna give her a quick spritz. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Or like 4. 4 is good. All right, so that'll just help her makeup kind of like set and settle and just look like skin and not makeup on her skin. So that completes her makeup look. So next we're gonna bring in Lindsey to do some braids and really like finish this look and make it amazing. So we'll see you soon.
All right, hey guys, Dana, thank you so much for having me again. I'm back here with Kylie and I'm going to show you guys how to use the 3-barrel beach waver, and then we are going to do a fun braid to complete the look. So we're going to get started by clipping in our hair extensions. I always like to clip in hair extensions when I do any type of updo and or down with wave style. It just always adds a lot of volume and it comes out great for pictures. So we're going to start by clipping them in, and I'm going to use the smaller wefts on the bottom, work my way to the bigger ones through the middle part of her head, and then smaller again on top. And I'm just going to show you guys the partings that I'm taking. So when you're clipping in hair extensions, I usually will create a part behind the ear, and I use the tail end of my clip, and I just go from the top of her head all the way down here, just so I have a nice clean parting right behind her ear, and the same on the other side. And then when you're clipping in hair extensions, you want to make sure that you leave enough hair on the bottom in case we were going up with the hair extensions. You don't want to see anything. We go a little above her hairline. So I'm going to start clipping them in. It's like you're on a ride every time I spin you around. So I just clipped in our first weft, and as you can tell, it lays really seamless up against her hairline. There's no bumps. You want to make sure when you're clipping it in, you have a nice straight parting, so there's no like jagged parts, and there's going to be no hairs that pull that would make her feel uncomfortable with the weft being in. Alright, so we have all of the clip-ins in her hair, and as you can tell, it is a lot of voluminous hair that blends perfectly. I wonder who does her color.
Oh, I wonder.
So we are going to start doing the waves. Okay, so we are going to start beach waving her hair. I'm going to start with the front quadrant just so you guys can see as I go along. You want to section the hair out. You don't want to do too large of a section because you want the curl to take to the iron. If you do it too thick, the wave might not come out as defined. It's always good to use clips to clip away the rest of the hair so you can keep it nice and neat and clean. The awesome thing about this iron is it's pretty mindless. All you do is just clamp down, give it a few good pumps, and you have your beach wave. So I'm gonna put them, slide the hair in between. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
Oh my god, look at that.
2. And then all the way down. And then you're just gonna want to leave that little tail out just so it looks like really natural.
I love that.
And there you go, you have your first wave. It's gonna
That's
look
so
really
pretty.
soft and natural, kind of really effortless. That's the look that we're going for. If you wanted something a little more defined, you can go in with a 1-inch barrel and wrap it around, but we just want something really soft and beachy.
I love that. I'm gonna need one of these. I feel like I had one of these when I was like in middle school.
Yes,
But I didn't do it right.
They were like
Yeah.
they were like the zigzaggy ones.
Like not big like that. They were like tiny.
Yep. And I know it's a little tedious and time consuming, but the smaller of a section you do, I feel like the better and more defined these come out. If you take too big of a section, it's not really gonna have much of a wave. Okay, so we are now done with all of her big fluffy waves, and as you can see, I did leave this one section straight because that is the section that we're going to do the braid in, and I don't really think that you need to wave it if you're just gonna braid it, because it saves yourself some time and it's just an easier way to braid. So the braid looks smoother. So I am going to go ahead and leave this little front piece out because we always like some pieces around the hairline. I can always go back in and kind of add some waves there, but I'm gonna have you tilt your head like that. Perfect. I'm going to start by taking a section about this big, this wide, and I am going to start my Dutch braid. So with the Dutch braid, you pick every piece under the last. I know it's hard to explain, so that's why I'm going to show you. Every piece, and you're gonna have to just mess around with it so you get the muscle memory down in your hands. And then you're going to grab an existing piece of hair and add it into your braid. So that is what I'm going to do. From here. Oh, did you
I
think?
thought you wanted me to hold something. No. Is this the same as a French braid? Is it the same thing?
It's like a slightly different.
Oh, okay.
All right, so here is our braid. I stopped about right here, and then what I'm going to do is tuck the braid underneath, and I'm going to pull it apart. I usually like to braid down a little bit. That way you have some like room to play with if you want to move it around or whatever the case is. So I'm going to tie this off with a little clear elastic. And then we are going to start pulling apart the braid. So before I pin it in the back, I always like to pull it apart. So I'm going to spin you a little bit this way. And you're just going to pretty much make it look nice and fluffy. I love the colors of a blonde braid. They always come so pretty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that was it. I thought it was
No.
Don't be afraid to make it look a little like kind of messy and textured because it's not meant to look super neat. And then what I like to do is I'll kind of like step back a little bit so I can kind of look at it and see if anything needs to be tweaked in different areas. You can kind of get a better picture of it all. And then I am going to pin this piece. So I'll spin you a little more. I'm feel it. So I'm going to and then this veils over top, and the braid is hidden behind the hair. Awesome. Now I'm just going to make some finishing touches around her hairline. Oh, that looks so good.
So pretty.
I love it. The beachy boho look is so good.
I love it. I've never been boho before, but
I know.
I'm going that way.
Now's the time.
Yeah.
Before the summer
I
goes
feel like
away.
it's happening.
I know.
They're like, well, you could be boho even in like the fall.
You can.
Know, it's just like a.
There's ways to do it.
There is.
I feel like with this look, you can easily tell when there's like a straight piece because it just
Uh-huh.
looks so out of place.
It's longer than everything else.
Yep. I'm gonna add a little texture spray. I'm using the Redken Triple Dry number 15 texturizing spray. And because this look is meant to be textured, this is the perfect spray to use.
It smells good.
Yeah, it smells like flowers.
Yeah.
It's very appropriate for this look.
It really smells so good.
All right.
Love it.
And then let's see, turn to the side a little bit. Oh my gosh, I love it. It looks so good. Like you would never know she's wearing extensions, right?
Nope.
Okay guys, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you love this look. She looks amazing. And keep an eye out for our next class and tutorial. So we'll see you soon. Bye!
They know who on the right.
You look tanner than me. Just go sit down. We'll call you in for bloopers later.
Goodbye.
Yes.
And when I do a style, I like, oh my gosh, that scared me.
That's not creepy, Manny.
Well, that's gonna be a blooper.
Maybe I'll make my boyfriend take me out to dinner.
Oh
My
What are you gonna do tonight? Busy
Want to
day?
go to dinner?
So we are gonna finish with lip and for
No, I do watch.
we can't see you. All right.
Hi.
If you hear a girl, just ignore it. So we are going to tell you. I was watching Housewives when I was working out yesterday. And who do I see? First scene? Your husband.
Oh my god. Really?
It was the NB fashion show, and he like turned around, and he was like, it was like, me, her. Not me, any. Oh, the seat just went down. Wait.
Oh, when can I do the blooper?
This is it.
No,